Right, who are the ones to watch for Euro 2024? I'm going to get myself cancelled right now. Might be the last time I speak on ESPN. It's been a great run. Because I'm going to go with a young man by the name of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, take a breath, everyone. And they go, we know about him. He's one of the biggest names in football. Relax. What I'm saying is, Cristiano Ronaldo, I think most people think are finished, right? I think he will go very, very far in this tournament because he's in a fantastic team, a team that's going to facilitate him, and I think he will score a lot of goals in this tournament. I don't think people will kind of put him forward because he's a big name, and I get that, but I actually think he'll have a phenomenal tournament.
When James Allcott leans forward, that means he's saying, bring it in. I'm going to tell you a load of things and I'm going to convince you.
Do you know what I mean? And is that fair to put him in a ones to watch? Just because I don't think people will be... Obviously, everyone's watching all the time.
That's what I mean.
But no one thinks he's good enough anymore, do they? I think in international football he can still be.
I agree with maybe people don't think he's good enough, but people will definitely be locking in to watch Portugal, and the first person they're looking to watch is Ronaldo still.
Yeah, and so my Ronaldo gang, hit the like button. Let the people know that this Jimbo's right. Cristiano Ronaldo, one to watch. I think he'll have a really good tournament.
Do you think though that Portugal team is best fit to still have him as the focal point?
No. I think it's fine. I actually think it's okay. Well, because I think the thing that Martinez knows is that you've got Ramos or you've got him. They're kind of the same player these days. Like Ramos is not, he's not a Giroud, is he? He's he wants to go and poach and score goals, right? Ronaldo wants to do a similar thing. You've got Bruno Fernandes being, if I could chuck in more Portuguese players, I would do. And Fernandes, I think, will have a great tournament as well. And I think Ronaldo he loves goals, doesn't he? He just wants to go and gobble up goals.
But a good tournament for Cristiano Ronaldo is scoring goals. So that means you think he's going to be one of the top scorers in the competition?
I do.
Interesting. I think this Portugal team, if they don't succeed, I think they'll be pointed to Cristiano Ronaldo being one of the big reasons.
Kweku, I've just made it very clear that they will succeed. I'm telling you, they will succeed.
We were waxing lyrical about how good this Portugal squad is, how deep it is. And I don't think, and I was Ronaldo's biggest apologist, but at this moment in time, I don't think he best serves his Portugal team as the starter. I think as an impact sub, and if he can find it within himself to play that role, I think that would be incredible, and maybe that will lead to better PR surrounding Ronaldo in terms of being that team player. And we saw the PR surrounding Ronaldo at 2016 Euros, where it was more about him being assistant manager than it was about him actually scoring the goals. I feel like he needs to humble himself a little bit, and humble and Cristiano Ronaldo words that don't go together. And I do think
Martinez ain't not going around.
I don't see it, man. I don't see him having a great tournament. I see Portugal being very good, and they're one of my teams to watch. But with Cristiano Ronaldo being one to watch, no.
Well, I've said it now. I've said it with my chest. Feel free to come after me at the end of the tournament. Who else do we want to put forward?
Let's go for actual realistic options.
I think that leads towards the fact that that's why it's a fair shout to chuck forward as ones to watch when people think it's not.
Think about it however you want. I've gone Dominic Szoboszlai. Didn't have the sort of breakout season at Liverpool that I think he hoped for, but he was also profiled as this box-to-box midfielder who doesn't touch the ball but just runs box-to-box, when actually his technical quality is still right up there. I think he also admitted himself that playing that role for Liverpool means when he gets the ball, he's shattered. Like actually releasing it is difficult for him. For Hungary, he's the main man. The whole side is built for him. If you watch him closely, the right back bombs on, the central midfielder who plays next to him pushes wide to basically open up spaces for him. So I think Hungary could cause a few surprises. I actually quite like their team.
Yeah, no, and I like Szoboszlai as well. I know that some Liverpool fans have soured on him a little bit, especially because of the back end of the season. But I think he's a player that, in a team that is centered around him,
he's the main character.
He's the main character. You'll be seeing 40-yard shots left, right, and centre. I think you'll see a Szoboszlai screamer at this Euros because that's what he does.
He's due, man. He's due. At Liverpool, we don't let him shoot for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'll chuck another forward in there, in the mix. Dovbyk, Artem Dovbyk, La Liga top scorer this season, 24 goals in 36 matches for Girona. Kind of not came from nowhere, but Girona certainly did this season. His conversion rate's 28%. Now, guys, I would say that if you're on 22%, something like that, 20%, it's good, right? Anything above 20% is fine. 28% is excellent. So he's in good form, got 8 assists and 10 big chances created as well. I think, I've said it in a couple of videos here, I think Ukraine are going to play good football, are going to do well. And I think he'll be a big part of it for them. I think he's definitely one to watch this year.
Do you think he's running hot?
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think that's important. I think how you end the season is important. And I think for that is my concern with England, with some areas of the pitch, is that there's some players that aren't kind of running hot, and so, but hopefully Foden is, hopefully Kane continues to be, hopefully Bellingham does, but obviously that's a different discussion. But Ukraine have got a few players that I think could do really, really well in this tournament, and I think he'll be at the end of it. So I think he'll score some goals.
Can I just very quickly throw in a ones to watch that's not on the list and it's just come to my head? Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah,
he's got to play because I think the reason
he's got him playing left back.
Yeah, and you know what? We had this conversation last week, and now I've gone, oh my god, he's onto something.
But Willie though,
he won't play left back, I don't think. But I think if England are to be successful and they want to be successful, they've got to allow him to play, because if you've got all these forward players are fantastic, but if you can't get the ball to them, they're
Where
useless.
Would you play him?
In midfield, alongside Rice. Obviously, people are going to say that's because I've got some Kobe Mainoo agenda. I do not. I do just think Trent...
Why are people going to say that?
Oh, long story. Story for another day. But I think put him next to Rice, and I think a lot's been made of Rice's passing this season. I think it is actually correct. Rice isn't someone who's going to get the ball from B to C really effectively and quickly, whereas Trent will. So he would be on this list for me.
Yeah, okay. I like that one. Florian Wirtz for me. Yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it, because you're great for Leverkusen, one of their best players this season. And we've talked about how congested the centre of the park will be for Germany because they haven't got any players that want to play out wide. I think he might be forced out wide because Musiala is going to be that fulcrum in the middle of the park, or like playing as a centre attacking midfielder. But I want to see Florian Wirtz as the real deal. He missed out on the World Cup a couple of years ago through an ACL injury, and I think he came back with a vengeance. He's got the bit between his teeth, and we saw in the Bundesliga he was one of the best players, still very, very young. And I want to see in the home tournament whether he can really announce himself. Do you know how in 2010 there was a group of these German players that announced themselves all at one time? Yeah. This could be a similar thing for this Germany squad, and I think if Florian Wirtz does that, we're going to see him go to superstar levels.
Do you think he will be able to kind of not be given the keys, but you've got Musiala in there, you've got Gundogan in there, you've got Toni Kroos in there. Do you think he'll get the sort of the service and the freedom to really show himself?
He might not necessarily start every single game. He's going to have to wrestle for supremacy there. He's going to have to fight for it. But I think he's well set up for it, and I like his mentality, and I love watching him play. In terms of aesthetically pleasing ballers, he's one of the ones that I tune in to watch because just so silky with the ball at his feet, can do a lot as well, and he's got an eye for goal. And I feel like at the home tournament, I want to see Florian Wirtz is that guy, because the season ended not disappointingly for Leverkusen, but like losing that final.
Slight anticlimax.
Yeah. In that manner, it was just a bit disappointing, and he struggled as well. But I want to see if he can come again in this tournament and really set the football world ablaze, because people who love football know Florian Wirtz, but people beyond that don't. And let's see if he can do it at this tournament.
I do wonder if this is one where, as much as I love Jamal Musiala, he wasn't in good form last season. I think you give the keys to Wirtz and say to Musiala, you're going to have to play wide.
Really well.
The problem for this Germany side is they don't have fullbacks that can hold the width. Yeah. And so everything has to go through the middle. And then they don't have natural wingers either. So even if you're asking Wirtz to go play out wide, he's going to want to come central. So it's either commit to playing 2 10s, Musiala and Wirtz, and play your team very narrow, or I think push Musiala out there and let Wirtz do his thing. Because you've got to go by form. Like if someone's running hot, and this is a 4-week tournament, you got to let him have the keys, because if he's on the bench for 2 games, what's he going to do?
Would you dare bench Musiala? Because you've got Leroy Sané knocking about as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Like when I was looking at it, I was going, it could potentially be Musiala off the left, because he has played there for Bayern. Yeah. Sané off the right, Wirtz through the middle, but then it's so narrow, and then you probably have Kai.
But again, he starts wide and then...
Yeah,
it's
a weird one. Nagelsmann has a few issues there, but Nagelsmann also been a manager who's not afraid to make changes and go for informed players. So if there is a gaffer who's going to do it, it might be him.
Yeah. And last name I wanted to put forward, and there are so many names. Zaire Emery. I think Xavi Simons is going to be really exciting. I think the whole Netherlands team is confusing me because there's a lot of exciting talent in there, but can they bring it together? One team that feels like a team is Austria, and Christoph Baumgartner as the 10 for them. It's one where I'm kind of picking him out, but really what I'm kind of saying is that in terms of sort of like gegenpressing, you just don't see that in international football. And I think you with him and Sabitzer, when you look at a lineup, you go, oh, well, that's a bit unexciting. But Rangnick has got them playing in the way that he wants to. I think he has the reputation and I guess within Austria, like the prestige to going to do what he wants. And you've seen some impressive results from them. And Baumgartner, I think, in terms of arriving late into the box, could be a real asset for a team that could cause a few shocks when it comes to the tournament this year. Guys, let's know. Ones to watch. Who have we missed out on? We haven't even touched on many French players or English players would be nice as well. Let's know in the comments down below. Throughout Euro 2024, Bet365 is unleashing their super boost every single match day. So make sure you check out their boost to find out that it's never ordinary at Bet365.